they heard what they thought was a bear trudging on the outside of their camp. These guys are mountain folk and not easily spooked, but they didn't enjoy the vibe that was in the air. They then heard this same sound, but this time above them. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to the Drip Podcast. We are talking cryptids, more specifically the Appalachian Mountains, because, well, it seems to be this mythical place where all these creatures seem to exist. I'm joined today by Lozzie and by Scott, both avid cryptid fans. How are you guys doing?
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Getting some cryptid vibes. Let's go.
Have you heard any stories from the Appalachian Mountains?
I can't say I have. I mean, I know of the area only because of Fallout 76, but that's it. And there's a cryptids in that game, so.
I know the name. I don't actually know if I know where the Appalachian Mountains are, so I'm hoping that you have that.
I certainly do have that information. Yeah, I do have the information. That's how we're going to structure this. So basically, I'm going to tell everyone what the Appalachian Mountains are, where they kind of range from, and then we're going to get into people's encounters. Okay, so that's how we're gonna work this. So I think we just jump straight in with what are the Appalachian Mountains. So the Appalachian Mountains are a vast mountain range in eastern North America, extending around 1,500 miles from the Canadian province of Newfoundland and Labrador in the north to central Alabama in the United States in the south. They are among the oldest mountains in the world, formed more than 480 million years ago during the Paleozoic era, long before the formation of the continents as we know them today. So I'm just going to say it right now. There could be some ancient cave systems with some gnarly shit in them. Right, so some of the key features of the Appalachian Mountains: the geography. The range spans several US states, including Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, New York, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, and Alabama. They also extend into parts of southeastern Canada. So it's quite a lot of it. You know, this isn't Rendlesham Forest we're talking about. We're talking about a fucking enormous amount of America, essentially, that make up the Appalachian Mountains and some of Canada. So the sub-ranges, the Appalachians consist of many sub-ranges, such as the White Mountains, Green Mountains, Blue Ridge Mountains, Smoky Mountains, and the Alleghenies, Alleghenies, Alleghenies.
Alleghenies, I think.
Oh, the Alleghenies. Highest peak is Mount Mitchell, located in North Carolina, is the highest peak in the Appalachian Mountains at a mere 6,684 feet, or 2,037 meters. So it's 2 kilometers high.
Jesus, man.
That's pretty insane. The biodiversity. The Appalachians are home to diverse ecosystems, including temperate forests with a wide variety of flora and fauna. They are known for their rich plant life, including many species of trees like the oak, maple, and pine, as well as diverse wildlife such as black bears, deer, and various bird species and cryptids. Cultural significance. The region has a rich cultural heritage, deeply rooted in American history and folklore. It was home to indigenous peoples for thousands of years before European settlers arrived. Today, it is known for its distinct Appalachian culture, including music, crafts, and traditional ways of life. The Appalachian Trail, one of the most famous hiking trails in the world. The Appalachian Trail runs over 2,180 miles along the spine of the mountains, from Springer Mountain in Georgia to Mount Katahdin in Maine. These mountains have played a significant role in shaping the geography, culture, and history of eastern North America. So, this is a large playground, right? And I think it's important to note that when it comes to cryptids and things like that, which we're going to discuss, to me, on a logical standpoint, also bearing in mind how old these mountains are, the cave systems, etc., it is entirely plausible that there could be species within the Appalachian Mountains that simply don't exist elsewhere. Because there are surely in the world areas smaller than 2,000 miles that house species that aren't elsewhere on the planet.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I mean,
Yeah.
I just Googled it because I was curious, and the Appalachian Mountains, from what I can see, is basically 3 times the length of the UK. Just to put that number into perspective of the size.
There you go. So you've got an area 3 times the amount that contains scousers. So why can't something 3 times bigger contain Bigfoot?
Jesus.
Can't argue with the logic.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I mean, mathematically, it makes sense.
Exactly. Would you be, as the team skeptic, Loz, would you be more on board with this kind of thing than a ghost?
Yes, purely because I believe there must be alien life because of how big the universe is. So, from a mathematical standpoint, it makes sense that there would be, in my mind, more likely to be cryptids than there are maybe spirits or ghosts.
Okay. And like I say, with the geographical mathematics, nice. Okay. That's very interesting. Yeah, this won't be the only episode, I'm just going to tell everyone now, that we do on the Appalachian Mountains, because there are sightings of all sorts of shit in the Appalachian Mountains. A lot of aliens when I've been doing my research. But we'll be looking at some things today. One thing that is very interesting, which has led me down a little rabbit hole. I'm just going to give a little spoiler. The phantom kangaroo theory, which is fucking wild, right?
Jesus.
Yeah. Basically,
I've never been more invested in anything.
So there is historically been sightings of kangaroo across the world, which doesn't make sense because they should be native to like Australia. But yeah, it's pretty wild. So there's basically theories there could be like some form of cryptid that is akin to a kangaroo. But yeah, so there's lots going on in the Appalachian Mountains. So like I say, we will be revisiting this, but let's start with some stories for today. So these are from Reddit. Okay, I basically searched up some Appalachian Mountain encounters. And some of them are absolutely horrid. So, let's start with Smile Like the Wind Boy, who 3 years ago posted the following. My partner and I saw 3 lights in a triangular formation, straight on with the aliens, which then transitioned into a straight line, continuing in their path until the one in the back changed into the opposite direction, returning to where it came from, and the other 2 corkscrewed out of sight. About 30 minutes later, my partner had a voice in her head tell her to look over the roof of the house, and as soon as she did, I saw this huge blue streak go across the sky. It was special to me because it was like a loading bar in a video game, starting from a straight line that spread across the sky into a rectangle or bar and vanished altogether. It took up 30% of my total periphery. We then heard what started as horse sound and then changed into this really long chirping, like a metallic warble noise that starts off like a horse. Don't quite understand that, but fair play. What does a horse sound like? How does he do a horse? No, that's
Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo. I'll tell you what. there's a fucking dark animation, mate, about Scooby-Doo that we're going to react to for the Patreon. Holy fucking shit. This just reminded me because the... But that's not a horse. And I was basically trying to do a horse noise so I could understand what a metallic warble, which is W-A-R-B-L-E noise that starts off like a horse.
No idea.
Yeah, no.
I don't know. Don't understand. Anyway, if you understand, let us know in the comments.
Please do.
There is a stable and fields behind her parents' house in Nicholasville, Kentucky, where we saw this all happen. The other thing that was interesting about it was this thick fog that came in when all of this started. After about 20 minutes of the noises, we decided to go down to the street to an empty lot adjacent to the pasture to see if we could find the source of the chirps. When we were 3 or 4 houses away, this huge, and I mean huge, owl-like call echoed across the valley from, I guess, the nearest forest line, which was half a mile away at least. Either way, as soon as that happened, the noises died down, and when we got back to the house, all of the fog had cleared. This was in October 2020. We saw the same lights the next night appearing in one spot in the sky and vanishing in another. Saw 12 or so of them. What do we think about that?
I'm struggling to keep track of the entire thing.
There was a lot. There was a lot to absorb.
It started with lights in the sky, then metallic horses started chiming in, then an owl.
I kind of feel like there was an alien invasion that night.
Mm.
You know? There was lights in the sky.
It'll explain it.
It would. Animalistic aliens coming down, chirping. I'll tell you what's quite interesting. I don't think I put the story in this one because it wasn't, or so I thought, wasn't paranormal, but I'm now making a link. So I was reading some other stories that they were Appalachian Trail stories, but it was like a subreddit that it was just like hikers talking about stuff that had happened. And there was a lot of like, animal scares and stuff like that. But there was this lady that said that she was camping in the Appalachian Trail and this really thick fog rolled in out of absolutely nowhere. She went outside and like walked around outside her camp because she was like, where the fuck is all this fog rolled in from? And then like within seconds it got so bad that she lost her tent.
Oh wow.
But she felt like she hadn't walked more than like 10 paces away from her tent. Now I'm starting to think, linking it to this one, it could be some sort of biological warfare from the aliens.
There you go.
I mean,
they're coming.
That does sound like the classic lost time during an abduction type story.
Yeah. Lost time, also, lost distance.
Yeah. Also, the bit you said about the voice that the partner heard in the head. Head.
I'm thinking straight away Rendlesham Forest. The guy, the general that touched the alien craft, and he heard a voice in his head saying, we're not here to harm you. We are you from the future. Sent to stop nuclear war. I think that's along them lines.
That sounds right.
Telepathic.
Yeah.
What an absolute turn up for the books if all of these UFOs are just humans from the future that have cracked fifth dimensional like time and space. And they're just sort of like trying to shape humanity a little bit better without doing so much change that it changes the trajectory where we discover fifth dimensional time and space travel.
Yeah, it's a fine balance.
Sure I bet that is a fucking fine balance. But yeah, interesting. Very interesting. But who knows? Alien fog? ? Aliens coming down? Or maybe it was a case of she saw aliens, or they saw the partner and the two partners saw aliens, and we just so happened to be surrounded by cryptids simultaneously, and that's what the chirping was. We can't rule these things out.
No,
we can't rule these things out. Okay, next up, great name, Lord _Jord. 86. Quality. 3 years ago, I grew up right in the heart of the Blue Ridge Mountains, about a mile from the Parkway, about a 30-minute drive from Mount Mitchell, which is the tallest mountain east of the Mississippi. I've seen a lot of weird things there. Panther people, humanoids, living shadows, ghosts, and incredibly strange lights. I mean, you've got the quadfecta. You've got cryptid, panther people, humanoids, shadow people, ghosts, and aliens.
Jesus.
Which it's this just ties straight to Rendlesham for me. I'm telling. I think there is a strong possibility that some of these cryptids and ghosts and demons and aliens are all one and the same, and they're just interdimensional beings. I'm telling you.
I mean, again, that does, in a way, make sense.
I think for you, Lozzie. I think for you, you'd believe it more if a ghost was seen as an interdimensional being rather than like a human that has passed on to the afterlife.
Yeah, perhaps, yeah. Yeah, it does. In my mind, it makes, even though you have to throw logic out the window because
you do
against what we're fucking looking at here. But yeah, I guess you probably would be right. It would kind of sit more right with me that it's interdimensional beings rather than just someone who's passed over to the other side and now is a ghost.
That's it. Those mountains are old and otherworldly. I'm not even the biggest believer in the paranormal, but I must say there is something not right about that area. It's almost like you feel like you don't belong. I've seen a gamut of things growing up there I can't explain. But in all honesty, what weirds me out the most is that my entire family, who spent their entire lives there, claims to have never seen anything. And they also don't believe in the paranormal at all. My brother saw UFOs floating in the sky with me. My best friend and I saw what we can only describe as a living shadow. The thing was big and pitch black. It ran right past us and down an overlook. You could see the brush being pushed aside. We got the fuck out of there. Basically, everything I saw could be corroborated by at least one other person. Strange, otherworldly place. Now, before we say our bit, there are a couple of replies. Hooped Checks said, seen the shadow person before, ran at my car, was super weird / disturbing. And Lesbian Taxi says, seen one just like that in my yard when I was 15 and taking pictures of the moon. It was squatted behind a tree with its long knees and half of its face / body poking from the tree watching me. It was jet black and I couldn't make out any details like a face. I could only see its shape. Immediately ran in the house and pinned a blanket over my huge window outlooking the yard I just saw the thing in. That was about 5 to 6 years ago now, but still very terrifying. This was in the Balsam / Waynesville Mountains in NC. Telling you, there's some fucking shit going on over there.
Yeah.
There's some crazy stuff.
I mean, shadow people are weird anyway, but like the ones, because the concept of a shadow that is sprinting towards you.
Yeah.
Which, because shadows are two-dimensional, as I think we can all agree. We've all seen shadows.
Yes.
They're, you know, they cast on surfaces. A shadow that is then no longer on a surface and is coming at you. At that point, isn't a shadow?
Well, is that a shadow? But is a shadow person a three-dimensional shadow?
That's what I mean, yeah.
Next week's episode is all about the Hat Man, a.k.a. the kind of Don of shadow figures. The paralysis demon himself, right? Which I think is just fucking weird, because why does everyone always see the same thing? It's just strange, and no spoilers for next week, but I think that the Hat Man is the greatest evidence, anecdotally, admittedly, that demons exist. But that's for next week.
Oof.
Fucking hell. Jesus. Stick around. Hit that like button, it makes sense. Rate the podcast if you're on Spotify. Join the Patreon. Patreon.com/StudiosRhino. But yeah, shadow figures, very strange phenomenon. I know what you mean. If they were to be 2D, it would be like, because if they were coming towards you, then they're just, it's in theory, just like elongate on the ground.
That's what that's why I'm trying to work out if it's a two-dimensional shadow coming at you, or if it's a 3D shadow, which is something different.
I think it's 3-dimensional.
Yeah, which I can't picture that sprinting at me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what the reaction would be in that moment because I couldn't even fathom it until it happened.
Yeah, I feel like it has
to shout your pants.
It has to be 3D. It has to. Because you wouldn't be able to necessarily tell that a 2D thing was running towards you.
That's very true.
Yeah.
So to actually see like the leg movement, you identify that something's running towards you, not just moving towards you. It has to be 3D, I would imagine.
Yeah. I think we're getting a little bit caught up in the details here.
Yeah, maybe.
Like the most asinine element of a shadow figure. What plane of dimension is this thing on? But yeah, I just don't like the fact that the author just nonchalantly threw in their fuir panther humanoid creatures and didn't acknowledge it again.
Good point. Glossed over
Fuck
those.
the shadow figures. Yeah, all right. Yeah, they're 10 to the dozen, mate. Fucking panther people.
What's going on?
That's insane.
Yeah.
Also, just want it to be said, panther, the coolest of the big cats.
Okay. Yeah.
100, mate. Panthers are fucking sick.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
But yeah. Where the fuck are they? Whoa! You can't just throw that in there and then just gloss over it
and just not even say anything else on it. That's criminal.
Panther people humanoids. Just thrown in there, like, yeah, man, 100%. Why not? Fuck it.
I want to know what that looks like. Obviously, it's a humanoid panther person, but
I don't know why. I'm just picturing like a panther head, and then just basically a guy in a suit.
Yeah,
it's like, hello there.
That's kind of where I'm going in my head. Yeah, just like a regular formal person with a panther head.
Yeah, like obviously was he a leopard or a tiger? But King in Tekken.
Yes,
just like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting. It's all going down over at the Blue Ridge Mountains. Right, Fat Cat 2000. Might be a little bit late to the punch. I think this person just like added to the thread a little bit late. But I spent my summers in the southeast 10 tri-state area of NC, GA, and TN. Saw lots of weird stuff. Saw lights 3 times that I can't explain. One, it moved erratically and slowly swept across broad valleys, too low and too quiet to be a helicopter. Another time, a friend and I saw what looked like 3 satellites moving in formation. Then the top and bottom started zigzagging and then shot off, while the middle one shot off seconds after. Finally, I was at a wedding on top of a mountain, and some of the party kept pointing at a light I swore was just a telephone tower. Then after hours of being stationary, it slowly floated away. Some of the most serious mountain men you could meet have seen things they can't explain, and I believe them more than any story you could read off the internet. I actually called into the Monsters Among Us pod once, if you want me to find my recordings so you can hear them more in depth. Shout out to Monsters Among Us podcast. Now, I have one humanoid story that was relayed to me by my best friend. To preface, I have, after much pressing, heard him relay other stories or legends he has heard from his family, and basically describing crawlers without giving them the name. He and another mutual friend were on a hike deep into a camping spot called Jack's River Falls in North GA. Once there, they settled in for the night around a fire. They heard what they thought was a bear trudging on the outside of their camp. These guys are mountain folk and not easily spooked, but they didn't enjoy the vibe that was in the air. They then heard this same sound, but this time above them. They could hear whatever this large thing was jumping in the trees, this time all around them, staying in the top levels. Finally, a large branch broke off and fell right behind them. This was enough to grow the fire as large as they could and keep their pistols on their side. That's pretty much the end of the story, but they stayed up all night and got the fuck out of there as soon as day broke. That's fucking quality. So you have probably some form of Bigfoot creature jumping above you in the trees. It snaps a massive branch and you think, yeah, I'm going to put this on the fire to make the fire bigger to hopefully keep it at bay and just holster my pistol.
Yeah.
And just wait for this thing to come out. And then I'm going to fucking put it on my mantelpiece. Rather than, do you know what? I think we should probably dip.
Mm-hmm.
No. Look, Americans, right? They got guns. The first inkling that there is something above them that isn't them, like a member of their group, I'm telling you, it's getting shot at. 100%.
They're just desk popping from the side of the fucking tent.
Because you said
It's raining bullets.
You said it sounded like a crawler, is what the person said.
Yeah, what's a crawler?
You know the rake?
Yes.
That kind of skinny, sort of white paled creature that crawls on all fours around the floor.
Right. This must have been a fucking big one.
Yeah, my understanding is that's a crawler.
Right, okay.
I've seen a few ghost hunting sort of shows find spots similar in the distance in the woods where they see something move, and it's generally that kind of description is what they class as a crawler.
Right, okay. So we've got some sort of fucking rake. A rake Sasquatch hybrid.
Oh, great.
In the tree line. That ain't great.
No.
That ain't great.
It's camp and open clearing from now on.
Yeah, I was listening to I mean this could definitely be bears, but I was listening to some Appalachian Mountain Trail stories earlier. And there was one, and they were like, we hiked into the Appalachian Mountains and we found a place to camp and we set everything up. And then once we set everything up, we kind of noticed that a lot of the trees around us, around 7 to 8 foot in the air, was just covered in scratch marks up the trees.
Yeah,
that's a bit fucking shit, isn't it?
Yeah,
you don't want that.
Pack it up.
Yeah, that's not ideal. Would a bear be able to scratch that high? I guess they can climb trees, can't they?
They can climb trees, yeah.
Yeah. Or is it a Bigfoot? In my world, it's more likely to be a Bigfoot.
Oof, maybe.
I don't understand, why would a Bigfoot climb trees though? When you got the power of, you could just probably punch the tree out of your way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, do Bigfoot have claws?
You tell me.
Well, I'm now doubting it, and I don't actually know the answer. Because they're like giant sort of grillery things, and I don't think gorillas have
as far as I'm aware, they don't have claws, I don't think.
So now I don't actually know. It's something I've never actually thought about. But again, in this wild expanse,
might just have
could be any sort of cryptid. Yeah,
good grip. So something behind me just fell over. It's annoying. The one that is this is my retro Spider-Man. Just fell over. It's annoying. The one day I put my fucking background on blur.
Yeah,
paranormal fucking happening. But yeah, it just fell over. It's fucking cool though. Sorry, it's a massive tangent. It's only for the video viewers. My mum found this in the loft. This is like my 1994 Silver Spider-Man.
Jesus, look at that.
From the animated series.
Yeah. I know that's X-Men.
That's the X-Men, but we'll
Right.
same universe.
Anyway. Beautiful. Right. This next one's from Nugzilla. A chicken nugget Godzilla.
That's what you want.
4 years ago. I've seen some weird looking things about 10 years ago in Henderson County, NC, while walking in the woods. There were 2 other witnesses. Oh, this bit's quite sad. Right. I'm just going to put out a animal warning. Okay. You've been warned. It's not bad. Well, it is bad. It is bad. It's not graphic. It's just sad. I bigged this up way too much. I'm not going to read the sentence. You're going to be like, okay. If you heartless bastards, my dog followed it and never came back.
I mean,
you did big that up quite a bit.
So, well, there were some people,
Eventually.
I'm more of a cat person, but,
yeah,
no, I don't want to see dogs die, though. Do you know what I mean? I'm fucking Jesus.
I was just expecting more to it than my dog fucked off.
Well, no. Right, so you've seen something weird, and your dog runs after it. You're just taking your dog for a walk, and it never comes back. That's horrible.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true. If my dog ran off, that would be after something. That would be quite upsetting. Yeah, true.
I wish I had pictures, but it was as big as a black bear, but it crossed about 15 foot in front of us. Craziest part was it was in a pretty cleared out area of the woods, but just appeared from nowhere. It made no sound either. My description of the thing is that it was black in colour, had ears long like a rabbit. It ran haunched over, but only on its back legs. It had like T-Rex style arms, left no marks and made no sounds. Scared the shit out of my sister, her boyfriend, and me at the time. I can still recall the exact place we were standing when it happened. I've never heard of a cryptid-like creature that meets the description, though. Well, let's read some replies. There's a reply. Oh my God. My grandparents swear they saw a kangaroo, and it was also about 10 plus years ago. They said it was like a brown-grey colour. They live on top of a hill, and they were looking down into their field, and they saw it sort of running and hopping into the woods. We live in southeastern KY, so there's no reason a kangaroo should be here. Even though you were clearly not describing a kangaroo, I'm wondering if it could be whatever they saw. The little arms and hunched over appearance, and even possibly the longer ears, all sound sort of similar. For real, kangaroos no one can explain show up from time to time. No one can figure out where they come from. No zoos or private collections, etc. admit to missing them. These are real kangaroos, one of the most amusing mystery animal situations in North America. Scroll down to kangaroos in the US. Of course, Wikipedia pretends to have a solution for them. And there's a Wikipedia link, which is phantom kangaroos. And then someone else commented saying, wait, did your dog ever come back? Did you ever find your dog later? I love dogs, so that kind of leaped out at me. And I'm sorry if you lost your dog. I just looked at the wiki article about phantom kangaroo sightings that's linked further in this thread. There was one in TN that killed and ate a German Shepherd police dog. Sweet Jesus, what a strange world we live in. Maybe they're not kangaroos, maybe they're fucking dog-eating beasts. The original poster replied, no, never found anything related to my dog afterwards. And he was hella smart and an escape artist. R.I.P. Can we get some F's in the chat, please? R.I.P. to the pooch.
Yeah. I mean, I think we've all seen the video of the Australian man who fights a kangaroo that has his dog in a headlock.
Yes.
So kangaroos do, take dogs. That is established.
Okay.
I don't know if they
Well,
take dogs.
They can grab a dog. We've seen
Yeah.
it. There's video evidence.
Well, maybe this creature is a bit like a prehistoric or like an offshoot of the kangaroo.
Mm-hmm.
But they've been spotted. Yeah. So they've been spotted, right? Kangaroos. So I'm on the Phantom Kangaroo wiki, yeah? And I'm not going to go too deep into it, but I'm going to tell you where they've been spotted, right? France, Japan, New Zealand, the United Kingdom, the United States, and admittedly that's it. But still, it's fucking scary, isn't it? Let me read the United Kingdom one, right? So, documented colonies of red-necked wallabies exist in the United Kingdom. A breeding colony established itself after breaking loose from a private zoo. See, this is bullshit. This is just all conspiracy. They're just making this up to try and cover their tracks. Their populations seem to have peaked in the 1970s, reaching numbers between 60 and 70. There was no confirmed sightings of the wallabies between 2000 and 2007, with some locals believing they have died out. In 2009, however, newspapers reported wallaby sightings, including clear pictures that made reference to sightings in 2008. In recent years, BBC News has documented numerous wallaby sightings across the UK. Inchconnechen, an island in Loch Lomond in Scotland, also has a population of wallabies after they were introduced by Lady Aaron Colquhoun in 1920. Subsequent sightings have been made, including a report of a Bennett wallaby filmed by zoologist Maurice Melzack in Highgate Cemetery, Hampstead, London, in October 2013, and an albino wallaby in Northamptonshire in 2015. So, there we go. But that doesn't explain this absolute beast.
Yeah,
run rampant.
Like you said, that wasn't just like a kangaroo per se. That was a vicious, big kangaroo.
Yes. That's very, very true. A very jacked kangaroo. Very jacked.
Yeah,
but
I like a phantom kangaroo now. Hadn't heard of them 10 minutes ago, but now I'm a fan.
That's it. But I don't know if, because obviously this phantom kangaroo thing is potentially some zoos and shit, but this thing that they saw sounds fucked up.
Yeah.
Sounds hella scary. It does sound very, very scary. So, yeah.
It was a bear-sized kangaroo.
A bear-sized kangaroo.
You don't want that.
You just don't. You just absolutely don't.
No.
But yeah, so that's a little taster of the Appalachian Mountain encounters. We're gonna do some more. We're gonna, maybe like next time we'll do like Bigfoot specific, or I tell you what, one cryptid I really want to look into, because just any of the stories of skinwalkers, it's just fucking horrific.
Mm-hmm.
It's just disturbing and eerie and awful. So I'd love to do an episode on that.
It's almost a shame that we can't react to videos here.
Yeah.
Obviously in the podcast one, because some of the ones that people say where like their dog's gone missing and then 3 weeks later it comes back, but it doesn't act like their dog.
Yeah, Pet Cemetery style.
Yeah.
Yeah, scary stuff. Obviously, we do reaction stuff over on the Patreon.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/StudioRhino, which you can access for £1 a month. And actually, the next part of this podcast is the Patreon question of the pod, which we're now going to do. We've put a post up because we need to get more questions of the pod, because we just stopped asking, which is ridiculous. Why would we do that? So, we've now done this, and we have lots of questions, which is wonderful. And we're going to go with one from Archie Zimmerman. Okay. Do you think everyone has the same ability to experience paranormal stuff, or do you think some people are more attuned to it? Very interesting question. I think this will raise some question marks around, say, mediums. But also, I think like what you're kind of open to as a person. You know, like for example, Loz, you're very skeptical. So I don't know if your brain, without you even knowing or realizing, maybe your brain ignores things.
Maybe.
That could be evidence.
I don't know whether I don't know. I feel like I always look for the logical answer first, where I think it's easy to say if you have someone who is quote unquote open or in tune with the spirits. I feel like it's as easy to say the spirits will kind of try and communicate with them more because they're more open to it. It's also easy to say they want them to do that. So you might look for the evidence of that happening without the evidence actually being there necessarily. So it's kind of like a yin and yang situation. But
without a doubt. And it's difficult, isn't it? Because it's like, I mean, no offense, and I don't know what to believe when it comes to mediums. Like, in my opinion, could be legit, could be false. One of the things, that I struggle with, or that I feel like I could potentially answer, when they're like, I don't know how to, what sort of example can I give here? When they're like, oh, I'm getting, I'm getting a lot of sadness, feeling a lot of sadness in this room, right?
Yeah.
Like, or like, oh, I'm getting, I don't want to go, I'm getting the word. Nonce. But no, like when that happens, like, I'm not being funny. I have intrusive thoughts, yeah? Like, just random shit. Like, just a random word will come to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, am I a medium? Or am I just a person with a functioning brain that can just make shit up at times? Like, how does a medium, and I'm not saying legit or false, right? How does a medium know the message that they're getting in their mind is from a spirit and not just having an overactive imagination? Do you know what I mean? Like, unless they can literally see things that we can't see, and there is a ghost person in front of them, and they're like, tell him he's a knob. Like, how, and even then, it's like, right, okay, is there a part of your brain that is misfiring and you're hallucinating, And I don't mean this in any disrespectful way at all. I'm just saying, how does a medium know the information they are receiving isn't just their imagination? What? And I would love to have that answered,
Yeah, it's a weird one because I've spoken to a couple of mediums in the past, and there's one that I've spoken to that, like, I genuinely, everything that he has said I buy, but mostly because he's never delved into specific details. Like, he doesn't. So the one that I've spoken to has never gone into any, like, tried to pluck a detail out of nowhere. It's all fairly obvious things. But then it's kind of like, why would you say you're a medium if you're not gonna, if you're gonna fake it in some way, why would you make it up and not give me something juicy?
Yeah. It's very tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very messy. Concept. It is. So right now, if I didn't know you and I was like, I'm getting something through. You like geography? And it's like, there's a fucking map on the wall.
That is the other thing is...
I think I'm getting it through now. You're a fan of Ghostbusters. Don't tell me I'm right or wrong, but I think you're a fan of Ghostbusters. It's like, okay, cool.
It's kind of a... Yeah, mediums are a bit weird. Sometimes I wonder whether that unintentionally really good at reading people.
Yeah.
Like, because some people are just naturally really good at, picking up on
on subtle cues and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
wonder if there are some mediums who are really good at doing that and don't know they're doing it. As far
Quite
as they're
possibly.
concerned, they think they're picking up on spiritual energy, or
Yeah.
when in actuality they can just sense that, you're a bit sad today, or
Yeah.
they can sense something's off with you.
And also to give potential mediums the benefit of the doubt as well, there has also been a lot of documented scam artists. And because of the nature of the industry, the paranormal, it being very sensitive, people have lost people. And when they tend to go to these people, they tend to be in a heightened state of emotion and desperation because they want to reach out to the people they've just lost, and they can't cope with the fact that they will never see them again or speak to them again, blah, 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 blah. And there are people that will take advantage of that, right? If mediums are legitimate, or there are some legitimate ones out there, the magnitude of a scam medium is so horrendous, in my opinion, that it's easy for that industry to be tarnished with a hell of a brush, I think. Because apparently my great aunt was a medium.
Okay.
Mate. So, I got some chips in the game, do you know what I mean?
You got it in.
Who knows? Yeah, it's interesting. But as for the question, being everyone has the same ability to experience paranormal stuff, I think, I don't know about attuned. Well, I guess this might be a bit pedantic to say. I don't know about attuned. I think maybe open to would be the answer. Yes, I think there are people that are more open to it. There's also fear plays such a that's one thing I've learned, is fear plays such a massive fucking part. Because, perfect example, I'm walking around 30 East Drive in the pitch black, and there's a noise. That's fucking terrifying. And then your mind instantly goes, oh my God, what the fuck is that? If I walk around my house in the broad daylight, and, there's like a creak or something, I'm just like, oh, just the house.
I personally think there is potentially something evolutionary built in with this.
Yeah.
Because I thought this when we've talked about seeing something in the corner of our eyes or in our periphery, or just hearing a sound like you did. Yeah. I feel like the mind fails safe by telling you there's a possible threat. You need to get the fuck out.
Yeah. That's great.
Biological, like almost safeguard as default answer. That's going to fucking hurt me. Run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It triggers your fight or flight kind of instinctively without you actually doing it.
Yeah, that's a fantastic observation.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic observation.
Like, instead of your mind just going, no, that's nothing, it will. I feel like you have the potential for something to be manifested to then make the realization that it is something, even though it might not necessarily be something to be scared of, but you're still in that fight or flight situation and you want to get up and fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like your brain can almost insert something there because it's best that you think there's something there so that you get away from it, rather than it just in the eventuality that there is something there.
Yeah.
I like that.
Because if we, cut it down to the bare bones, if you don't think something's there and it is, you're not around anymore to replay that scenario.
Yeah. It's taking the safe option, but your body instinctively is. Yeah. I think, I think the whole being attuned thing, it's a weird analogy, but it's almost like wine tasting.
Proceed.
Like, Like,
Yeah,
I have been to a wine tasting session, and all of the wine tasted like wine. I drank the wine, I left. Other people were there tasting very specific notes. Like, it's just I do not have the capability to taste the specific notes of a wine. That is a biological thing.
Biological?
My taste buds are not attuned to the wine. The other people obviously are much better at it.
I was going to say, no, it requires being a pretentious twat, but that was a joke. Okay. I don't like wine!
I don't like wine.
Neither do I. It was a gift. But
so is it not because you don't drink wine that often?
I
so
mean,
if you
maybe
drink wine more often, you might be attuned to it.
Possibly. But I mean, I assume, you know, I assume the way taste buds work, you know, in that your taste buds can naturally, some people can have a better sense of taste, some people have a better sense of smell.
Yeah. So I mean, some people have better palates. They can identify taste better. So I
do get it.
I'm kind of trying to link that to the paranormal in a weird way.
Yeah, no, I do get it for sure. Interesting. Yeah, quite possibly. What do you guys think? Let us know down in the comments. If you want to ask your own question, get over to the Patreon. You know it makes sense. Patreon.com/Dudeystories. You get lots of stuff. Loads of stuff. Behind the scenes, we did a Get Ready With Me Paranormal edition in the Airbnb the night before 30 East Drive. They've also had the first 6 minutes of 30 East Drive. They're going to be getting part 1 early. Get lots of early exclusives. You get reaction videos, all sorts of stuff. So, yeah, if you're a fan of the team, if you're a fan of the pods and a fan of the investigations, the Patreon's the place to be. You also got a load of free stickers recently. Right. Okay, well, that's it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. If you're listening, if you could rate us on the app you're listening on, that'd be awesome. If you're watching, if you could like, share, subscribe, and just share the pod about with your friends and family, whoever you think are into the paranormal. That'd be absolutely awesome. Thank you. We'll see you soon. Drip, drop, drip, drippity, drop, drip, drop, out. Bye.